Welcome back to another RPO College Football Podcast, your favorite college football podcast. My name is Jerome Jones, your humble host, and I'm here with, you know who he is, the man, the Mr. Legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
Doing good. Ray, 2 more weeks.
2 weeks away. Yes, sir.
2 more weeks, and then it's Christmas,
Yeah.
and I was about to say July. April.
Yes.
Christmas in April. I love it. Every time of the year, man. How you feeling right now?
I'm ready to go, man. I'm excited about the drafting because I love the draft in general. I really would like Miami to trade out the first round and pick up extra picks, but we'll see what happens.
100%. I think I'm enjoying this draft process more than normal as an Eagles fan, mainly because every year we kind of know what the Eagles are going to do. Last year, everybody was like, the Eagles going to probably get Carter. We got Jordan Davis was a guy that everybody knew was going to get. We got Devontae Smith. He was kind of on everybody's radar. Thought the Eagles going to get him. So the last couple of drafts in the first round, you know, even the kid from what he's from Tennessee that we got, the lineman, can't remember his name, but I used to compare him to Brandon Graham. I forgot his name. Dang. He broke what's his name's record at Tennessee.
Oh my God, dude. I know you're talking about, but I can't
So
remember.
funny because I'm remembering Marcus Smith, and it's not Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith is actually worse than this guy, but I can't remember his name right now. Chat guys, if you're in there, please help me out. I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, it's just thinking about like our draft position the last few years and who we're gonna get. It's been so kind of obvious. But this year, like I'm seeing a whole bunch of different stuff for the Eagles, man. I'm seeing Cooper DeZean. I'm hearing, Terrion Arnold. I'm hearing Mims. I'm hearing all different kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. I'm kind of hoping that the Eagles don't get an offensive lineman outside of Paris Johnson. I love Paris Johnson, but it's cool. It's cool to see how everybody kind of thinks where everybody's going and kind of predicting. And right now it's definitely smoke and fire time where people are gonna start saying, "Oh my God, this player is terrible because he's not a good character guy. Oh my goodness, this guy, gonna get you fired." Like stuff like that. It's that kind of time of year. But it's definitely exciting, definitely cool to look at and see where everybody's thinking and feeling about this time of year. Ray, what's your biggest thing right now with your team? Miami.
I mean, I have holes on offensive and defensive line that I kind of need to fill. But it's a good draft for that because they're pretty deep at them positions. That's why Miami only has 6 picks.
Oh,
and I would like to see if they can trade down and maybe pick up some extra picks. So.
Yeah, I didn't realize you only had 6. But yeah, I think Miami's in a pretty good spot too, man. And y'all did great in the free agency. Y'all did well drafted the last couple of years, so y'all in a good spot. So.
We should be okay. I mean, again, if I can move out of the first round and pick up even extra third or fourth, because and that's the other part. I go from a second round pick all the way to the 5th round before I have another one. If I could pick up a 3rd or a 4th round pick to move into the second, I would do that pretty comfortably, I think.
Yeah.
Because again, it's deep in that position that I need. So
definitely, Miami should feel good right now, considering how Buffalo looking right now. We already know New England's, still rebuilding. The Jets, you don't know how that's gonna go with Aaron Rodgers still. So I'm sure you guys feel the best right now. So.
I think that if Buffalo gets a number 1 receiver, they'll still be in pretty good shape. The Jets are a complete wild card. They could be pretty good, or they could be injuries regarding injuries. They could be in trouble. But again, I go by talent. The Jets have a talented roster, no question about it.
100%. No, they do. So All right, let's get right to it. Let's actually. I was gonna start with linebackers, but we skipped over tight ends this time. So, excuse me. Let's start with tight ends. So, the top five tight ends in this draft. Now, before we get into the actual top five, Ray, what's your total thoughts on this draft class this year?
It's a really bad class. You have one guy who's a real impact guy, and then some other guys will be like serviceable starters, and then after that, it's just nothing. So
Definitely. And I totally feel like me and your top five list will be completely different outside of number one. So we'll see. Let's start with your number five, Ray. Who you got?
well, I do have a 5A and a 5B, and it's only because I think the guys I gave them almost like the same grade. They're both fourth round players, fifth round, maybe even fifth round players. But I had Kate Stover from Ohio State, who I think is a going to be a good functional blocker and a solid receiver out of the backfield, a decent little player. And I like Jakeem Bell. I think he's a versatile guy. He can do a lot of things for you. Maybe move him to H back and get a lot of useful out of his ability. So those are my two
I
five.
Yeah, I agree. Stover I actually don't have in my top five. I actually thinking about doing the top four, top like a 5A, 5B like you did, right? I have him right outside of the top five for me. I just didn't feel like it was worth putting a 5A, 5B to me with
As
how
far as
little this
yeah, I
class.
agree. I agree with that. I think part of it with the position not being that deep. Again, I just had like very similar grades on both of these guys, and I do like both of them. Again, I don't think there's any impact tight ends in this draft except for the first one. Maybe the second guy can do a little bit of everything for you too.
Mhm.
But we all know that the number one guy is going to be a player. So
Yeah. I have Jaheim Bell a little bit higher than you, right?
okay,
For the reasons that you said already, but we get into that when I get to him. But my number five is Ben Sinnott. I really do like him. I feel like I need to see a little bit more from him. But him playing at uh, uh, uh,
Kansas State.
Kansas State, really good tight end, 6'4", 245 pounds. A little bit thinner than I would like, but he can definitely help out, play a little bit, do some good stuff in the passing game. And I like him. I think you might have him a little bit higher than me, right? But
I do.
yep. All right, let's get to your number four.
My number four is Theo Johnson from Penn State. I think that Theo Johnson again is a guy who's athletic enough, has enough speed. The only thing that scares me about his speed is he times faster than he looks when he's playing. Now,
Yeah.
part of that could be what Penn State asked him to do. I get that. But he does have upside. He's 6'6", 265. There's potential there for him to be a good, solid tight end, I believe.
No, and that's exactly where I have Theo. I have him in the fourth spot as well. I just think, I thought I agree with you. Looking at him playing at Penn State, he just looks slow, and I don't know why. He just looked a lot slower when he ran his 40. I was like, oh.
I
And I
think
went back to the tape. He just don't look like he's always running full force. He just look like he's just kind of gliding out there, like trotting and stuff like that. We got to interview him at the Senior Bowl. Seemed like a really good kid. Really loved his time at Penn State. I just think that he has to work on his route running a little bit more. I think his route running kind of and maybe that might be it. You just don't run hard. Maybe that's what it is.
and I also think that Penn State didn't ask him to do a lot.
Yeah.
They just asked him to go out there and be a good functional blocker, and they're a running team, so
Yeah, 100%. All right, you got number three.
I got Ben Sinnott from Kansas State at number three. Again,
Okay.
I think a guy who with just enough kind of reminds me of Harrison Bryant for played in Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Who's a good, solid, functional tight end. I think Ben Sinnott could be the same thing. I think he's just good enough receiver, just good enough blocker to be a solid player in the NFL.
Yeah, I do like Sonata. Don't get me wrong. I think any of these four guys you can kind of mix and match. Honestly, I just think
Mm-hmm.
that Sonata. I got to see a little bit more of Sonata for me. Maybe I just didn't watch a lot of tape of him. I do like. I do remember watching him a couple of live games. He is a sneaky good player, but maybe I just didn't see enough. My number three guy is Bavin. I think I said his name, man. Bavin Spain Ford. At number 3 right there, right?
I,
Minnesota, good.
yeah, I mean, I like him too.
Yeah.
I think he's another guy who I just didn't want to go a 5C, man. I just like, but I would have him right there. Like, if he turned out to be a better player than Stover or Johnson, I wouldn't be surprised. So I have him just right outside those guys. But again, he is one of the other guys who probably could be turn out to be a good solid tight end for somebody.
Yeah, he was. I knew him from playing obviously in the Big Ten, seeing him there. But when I see him at the Senior Bowl, he was kind of sneaky good. He was doing some things that and it kind of put him on my radar a little bit more. Like I'm seeing him like catching these balls, and like it was some nice catches. It was getting up there, go getting them kind of things. You look like a basketball player out there actually. When he was playing, so I do like that about him. I think he got that athletic ability. I like again, kind of. I don't remember his 40 time, but he don't look like the fastest guy. He don't look like the strongest guy. I don't really trust him that much in blocking. He's serviceable in blocking, so he just does everything good enough, to me. Again, a guy that maybe you have to see a little bit more of him. It said that he's 6'7", yeah, 6'7", so he's very tall.
I thought about putting him as one of my sleepers because I do think he does just enough catching the ball and blocking where he could turn out to be a solid player from somebody. If you're looking if you're looking for that second tight end, this is the class for you.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a starter, you're going to have to pick and choose and try to develop them as hard as you can, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Or you might have to just trade up in the first round and get you a starting tight end.
Yeah, or you're right. You can trade up and get the one guy you know is going to be pretty good.
100%. All right, Ray. Number 2, who you got?
I got Jatavian Sanders from Texas. Again, a good blocker, a good receiver, just good enough to be that guy. I think he could be a number 1 tight end, I believe, in the right system.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know anything about him, to be honest. Haven't done any tape on him at all. Again, most of these tight ends I know from either just experience or the Senior Bowl. I haven't did a lot of deep diving into them because it's honestly the most boring.
No, it is, and
to me,
you know what it is. Also, it is a position where the Dolphins value, and it's a position where I just picked up Jonnu Smith, so I think my tight ends are okay now. But Jadavius Sanders, actually, I gave him a comp as Jonnu Smith. So I think he could be a good, solid player for you. A functional blocker and a solid receiver.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. My number 2 guy is Jaheim Bell. Reason why I got him that high, other than when you rate it, I think he's the most versatile out of all of them. And I think that, and you did mention that earlier, right? And that's why I have him at number 2, because if I'm going to get a tight end that's going to be a little bit higher, hey, have a tight end that can go H-back. Have a tight end that can flex out a wide receiver and, go in line, all that stuff, I'm going to get a guy in like this in the second round, maybe third round, and I'm just looking for a versatile guy that can do a little bit of everything, especially if I got my number 1 tight end already. Why not get Bell, put him in there, match him up with another player? I would love Bell and Dallas got to be on the same field, man. You do so much with that. So
I think the Jaheim Bell on the right system could be a really nice player. I do. I think I think on the Niners, on the Dolphins, on a team who really knows how to use an H-back type of a guy, he could be a nice player for you. But I mean, they didn't ask him to do a ton of blocking at Florida State. So what they did is they used him all over the place. So they used him as a running back sometimes, as an H-back.
He was doing that at the Senior Bowl too.
Right. So he does all of those things. I mean, his size is 6'3", 240, so that's solid. I mean, again, it just depends on you're talking about a second guy on a team that has a good tight end. And I think that's really what, except for the first guy, that's what this class is.
So I would hate him to be on a San Fran because I know San Fran would use him like use check with.
They would, and that's why I think. See, but here's the thing: if I'm Jaheim Bell, I want to go to that team because that team's going to get me paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I go to the wrong team, I could be a third, fourth guy on a depth chart and never make a dime.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know?
That's very true. Very true. Well, we'll see how that goes. All right, and your number one, Ray.
Well, I think everybody knew who number one was as soon as we said top 5 tight ends.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Brock, there's nothing really he doesn't do. He's a good, solid, functional blocker. He doesn't excel at it because it's hard to excel at being a blocker when you're the best receiver on your team. You know, so he did everything else and he blocked. So the kid he's going to be, he should be a top 10 pick. He is a tight end and they're undervalued a little bit. So, but he'll be a top 15 pick. If he's not in top 15, I'd be shocked.
I was about to say I think he's going to be in the teams. I can't see somebody doing.
I'd be shocked if he's
the only reason honestly, I thought this was horrible when it happened, but the only reason that the Falcons got guy's name the kid from Florida.
Yeah.
In the first round, they went to the Falcons. God. Sorry, guys. I am so brain dead sometimes. I have so many names in my head. Kyle Pitts. There you go.
Kyle Pitts, yeah.
Yeah. The only reason Kyle Pitts went that high is because he ran a 4.4 at the tight end. You don't see that. And super athletic, can jump off the gate. He's a super athletic player, but I think teams are going to shy away from just trying to get tight ends that high, especially where you got all these other really good offensive weapons that you can get in the first round. I personally think that Brock Bowers won't go in the team.
There's that possibility because of the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that will be overdrafted, and there it is a deep. Here's the thing, though: it is a deep draft for offensive and defensive linemen. So if you really want to go that way, and you really need it, like Brock Bowers will be a more impactful player right off the bat, but he won't be down the road. I don't believe there's some of these.
You gotta think about it too, right? I'm thinking.
Yeah, but if you're a team like the Jets, and you have solid receivers, but you really don't have a tight end, that can complete your offense. Mm-hmm. And we all know that Aaron Rodgers loves good tight ends. So.
Yeah. I'm thinking at least four minimum, but I think 5 gonna go in the first round. Quarterback. Yeah, then you got like 4, maybe 5 offensive linemen. That's 10 players right there. You got the receivers, so you got
at least 4 of them will be top 15 players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, when you start adding all that up, that's like 14 players right there. That's why I say I think he's going to be in the teens, 20s, because you're not thinking tight end that early, especially if you got those heavy hitters, the Joe Alts, the, Neighbors, the Harrisons, the quarterbacks, every one of those quarterbacks that are being named up there. I just think that Brock Bowers positionally.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I just think that he is a top 10 player talent-wise in the draft. So I think if you need a tight end, if you don't try to get this kid, you're probably not. I mean, I would love for Miami to get him, but that's not going to happen, and they don't really need him like they did a month ago. So.
All right, let's get to our tight end sleepers, right? Who's some sleeper tight ends? Sleepers are obviously guys that don't get talked about enough that you want to kind of shed some light. That have some potential, maybe not a starter, but a contributor for sure. Who you got, Ray?
Jarrett Wiley from TCU, and I got Eric All from Iowa. Basically, 2 guys that with enough size and enough talent to be, again, a second tight end on some teams. Wiley is very interesting because he's a very tall guy, good length, good solid speed. He looks he looks the part. Not a consistent ball catcher though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Eric All goes Iowa. So, like usually they produce solid tight ends. He's
Yeah.
not a great athlete though. So
Yeah. I'm kind of mad that I didn't pick Eric All on my sleepers. I don't even have him in any part of my list, honestly. A guy that obviously we got to interview inside the hashes. I was very excited about him being on Michigan. He transferred. He had some injury history. Early in his career, he had some drop issues. I think he kind of cleaned that up. But last year, I was really excited to see him play a little bit more, even with him being in Iowa. I was actually kind of nervous about him playing Michigan, but he was injured. So he just kept having injury issues. So we'll see about that. It's nothing like major injuries, but it just kind of injuries that kept nagging and getting in his way and getting him off the field. So I think his sophomore year, he had a major injury, like a knee injury or something like that. I can't remember. When he was with Michigan. So with that being said, I think that he is definitely a good player that can, if he can stay healthy, he could definitely be one of those super guys. I got two guys real quick, Ray. Tip Rainin. Did I say his last name? Let's see. Yeah, I think it's Tip Rainin. Where is it? Right, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm looking for him on my board. I don't see many. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, from Illinois.
Yeah,
Yes.
Illinois. I'm trying to figure out why he is not on this list.
It's funny, Jerome. He is like one of the thickest tight ends in this draft, dude.
Yeah.
He's 270, dude. He's a big kid.
Yeah. He's gonna block his butt off for you.
Again, Illinois tight end. I mean, I think there's a potential as a blocking tight end. There is. So.
Yeah. I like him a lot. He's a good blocking tight end. I wouldn't mind him being like the second or third guy for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy that's gonna be an inline guy. A guy that you have him help run blocking with Saquon back there.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice. That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And another guy I got on here, Austin Stoltner, a guy that we interviewed some years ago, played really well when he was with oh my god, I hate this. I'm terrible with names. I'm so bad with names. The kid that used to play with Oklahoma, and then he went to South Carolina, quarterback.
In the draft this year.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Spencer Rattler was there in Oklahoma, he had he was starting to really blossom. He looked good early on. I think it was Spencer Rattler's second to last year, or it might even be his last year. They was clicking. They was like really good. I thought he was going to see from there. I think like, a little bit of quarterback play, he needed a guy that's going to, keep eyes on him, get things like that. And I think that he had a little dip once Spencer Rattler left. And it's funny because Spencer Rattler was actually struggling while, Stoltner was succeeding. And then, they both departed. Well, not both departed, but, Spencer Rattler departed Oklahoma, and you never seen Austin kind of like got left in the dust a little bit. So this is a guy that I think is a sleeper. I think he can get back to his old ways. Really solid hands, very deceptive in his route running. I like him a lot, right? What's your thoughts on him real quick?
I like Stogner, dude. I think he's a good blocker. I think could be a guy who could be like a secondary tight end. I think that he did get more balls thrown his way playing with the other quarterbacks. So, that was part of the problem. And Oklahoma's a running team too. Yeah. I mean, they only throw the ball out of necessity at Oklahoma. We know that. So.
That's true. All right, let's get to our small schools. So small school tight ends. Guys that are at small schools that not a lot of people are talking about, but we want to share some light on them. So, right here you got.
I got Marshall Martin from Sacramento State, who's a H-back category type of a kid, 6'2", 230, 235. He's not going to be a blocker. He's going to be a flex out of the backfield type of an H-back, fullback type kid. But again, nice solid speed of 4.5, 6.40, not a bad player. And Zach Hines from South Dakota State, who's a bigger kid, 6'7", but only 260, needs to be a little bit heavier, but is a good functional blocker already. So if you fill out his frame a little bit, maybe you get some use out of him.
Definitely. But I like it. My small school guy, I was kind of struggling on this a little bit, but
there's not a lot of guys here, man. Again,
struggling with it. But I'm gonna pick a guy that had a really high production rate at the combine. Looked pretty decent. I've seen him out there. He looked pretty decent. I think he was the one that caught that one-handed catch. Yeah, he caught the one-handed catch. I don't know a lot about him. I've seen some stuff about him. I hear a lot of good things about him. Maybe Ray, you can help me out with him. But his name is Delon Hooker. Is it? I want to say Hooker, but it's not. It's Holker from Colorado State.
Yes.
Say again.
Holker.
6'3", 241 pounds, so he's a little light, but 33-inch and 5/8 arm span, 10 and 1/4 quarter hands. He had an 80 production score rate. He had a 4.78 40-yard dash. Looked good out there, catching the balls with one hand and stuff like that. Ray, what can you tell me about him?
Again, a little bit thinner of a kid, lighter kid who's probably could be a flex H-back type of a kid. Not a bad prospect. Again, going to be like a lot of these guys will probably be on someone's practice squad somewhere.
Yeah.
Just to bring up until we can develop and see what we can get from him. And Hawker fits along that because he does have a solid frame, 6'3", 240. But again, that's a little light for NFL tight ends.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. You said 340. 340. I had
240.
You said
I have 6'3", 241.
Wow, I had 35. So
okay.
Is that rain I'm hearing? Hold on. Yeah, it's raining hard out there. I'm sorry, Ray.
Okay.
I'm just hearing. I'm like, what am I hearing? Obviously, I'm in Georgia, raised in Jersey, so it's got different weather. But
yeah.
All right, let's get to.
I don't need any more rain. God.
Yeah. Especially after last week, right?
I don't need any more rain.
No rain, no earthquake.
No nothing.
All right, Ray. Let's get to our linebackers, Ray. Linebackers. What can you tell me about this position, Ray?
A little better, a B minus grade on linebackers. Solid players, nothing, exceptional, but nice solid players,
Yeah. I think
the problem with linebackers is an undervalued position for sure.
Yeah.
So whatever you get from it is what you get from it,
Yeah, I think it's top heavy. Like there's no guy I don't think there's a superstar linebacker. Jack, the kid from that went to Detroit last year. We were all kind of like, man, this kid's nice, but we just thought that linebackers were going to get picked in the first round. He wanted to go in the first round. Well, but he turned out to be a good linebacker. Really did.
And he's a good player, and I didn't have a problem. It wasn't that he got taken in the first round. It was way too early. But again, like I say all the time, man, once the kids get on the field, no one remembers where they were drafted. Can they play or can they not play? That's all that really matters, man.
No, I agree. So if he went out there, he balled out. And if he balled out the way he did,
Lions had a very nice season, man. So I don't think they're too upset with what they did last year. So
100%. But like I say, I think it's a good top heavy linebacker group. I think there's no number one guys again this year. Again, we never know. But I think there's a lot of good guys at the top, and then it kind of like dwindles down from there. But let's get started, Ray, with your number 5.
I do have a 5A and a 5B. I'm sorry, everyone. But I will get through. Again, it's because of even though they're a little bit different, I gave them similar grades. So, and I got Trayvon Wallace from Kentucky, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from Clemson.
Wow.
I think Wallace has more athletic ability, more upside. I
Mhm.
think Trotter is very instinctive, like his father.
Yeah.
Not quite as physical as his old man, but
Mhm.
very instinctive, and he knows how to get to the right place at the right time to make plays. So
Yeah. I got Trotter a little bit higher on my list, but yeah, right. I agree with you. I wish he was a little bit faster, a little bit more physical, but you know, he fits this mode of linebackers right now. You know, so I think that kind of helps him be able to play today's game. Where his dad, I don't think his dad will be able to play today's. Obviously, I know you know his dad being an Eagles fan.
his old man would be a two-down linebacker in today's NFL, probably. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a shame because Jeremiah Trotter was actually a better athlete than people think, but he
Hmm.
had a lot of knee issues that people really didn't know about because he played through them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Axeman, the Axeman.
one of my favorite college players, Stephen F. Austin, man, love that guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was one of my favorite Eagles. One of my favorite Eagles.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I agree with you, Ray. He did not. Trotter, his son, did not run a 40 at the combine. I don't remember if he did it at Clemson's pro day, but
I don't remember that either, Jerome. I don't think that if he did, I'm sure it wasn't that impressive
yeah,
because he doesn't move. He moves here and his body reacts to what he sees. So that's a good thing, but he's not an exceptional athlete. He's not, you know?
yeah, he didn't participate in Clemson's pro day either. That's why we don't know. So we really don't know how fast he is. Based on the 40 time.
My fear about Trotter is in the end that he'll be a two-down linebacker,
Yeah.
that he's not an every down linebacker, you know?
No. 100%.
So
Let's get to well, I'm sorry, I was going to say my five. My five is going to be Cedric Gray, a guy that we interviewed at the Senior Bowl. A little undersized, but I like him a lot, man. He got that toughness about him. He's 6'2". Yeah, he didn't seem like he's 6'2", actually.
I have 6'1", 6'1 3/4.
I could have sworn I was taller than him. I could be wrong. I actually interviewed him. I was standing right next to him. I could have sworn I was taller than him. I could be wrong. I'm 6 foot. I'm 6 foot even. That's how I kind of judge my size. So yeah, I mean, he ain't that small, I guess then. But I like his game, man. He's pretty fast. I don't know if did he run at the combine.
On his thing here from what I got from the combine, he's 6'1",
6'1".
even and 234.
That makes sense. He ran a 4.64, so he's fast, man.
For a kid that who actually is pretty strong.
Yeah.
He's not a big kid, but he's strong. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a good size, dude. Nice speed.
Yeah.
I have him higher than you do, Jerome.
You do?
I do.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to number 4, Ray. Who you got?
I have Junior Colson from Michigan at number 4.
Our
Again,
number 4s all day. We're aligning with the number 4s today. I don't know what.
Reminds me a lot of Willie Gay, who plays for played at Mississippi State, now plays on Kansas City.
Yeah.
Nice little player, man.
Yeah. Very instinctive. Great leader. I like him a lot. I think he ran a solid 40 as well.
The thing I like about him is he's listed 6'2", 235, 240 already. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be a thumper already,
Okay.
So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did not run a 40. I'm guessing because I don't see it on here.
I don't see a time listed for his 40 either, to be honest with you.
I'm guessing he didn't run either. But, yeah, a guy that played some good minutes last year, had 61 tackles, a half sack, PBU. I'm sorry, that was his freshman year. So that year he played a lot. Last year he had 95. I knew the numbers didn't feel right. But yeah, he started off 15 games plus the national title game. He's a guy that you will wish did a little bit more outside of just tackling, though. Forced fumbles or getting sacked. He was just a steady guy, and he's just good at what he did. He didn't do nothing extra, and that's why his name was never really out there because he just never really had like those super like moments where he just got a fumble or fumble recovery or an interception. He just wasn't really that guy. He's just gonna be a guy that's sitting there, get you the tackles, and go to the next play and get another.
Mhm.
So Junior Colson, I like him a lot. Again, he's not the guy that, like, and again, I've seen this out of Kajir White, where he was just a tackler guy for the Eagles. He came to the Eagles. He just came in as a tackler guy, played for the Eagles that 1 year, and then had sacks and interceptions, and you're just like, whoa, where was this some years ago? So it can happen. It could be scheme. It could be who's in front of you. Next to you, this is not. You know what I mean? But again, Junior Colson, very solid guy. Don't get a lot of turnover or anything like that. He just does his job right. So
I just think he does just enough of everything to be a nice player on your team. So, and there are definitely leadership traits there. So that's a good thing.
100%. All right, number 3, get ready. Who you got?
I Cedric Ray at number 3. From North Carolina. Again, 6'1", 234. Nice player. Ran a really crazy 40 time for a kid that big. So nice athlete. Kind of reminds me of Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma a little bit. I mean, I think he's a nice player. Again, I think that the linebacker position is good. It just there's no first round. There should be no first round players with the linebacker position this year.
100%.
I mean, even more than last year. So
no, I agree with that. Yeah, I got Jeremy Trotter right here. So we got both of those players kind of flipped on our chart, but I got Trotter right here. I think that like all the stuff that we said earlier, man. He's a good guy. He's gonna. I think he might have the best vision out of all the linebackers here. Where
I see that, Jerome, but I think I'll give you that. I think really is what I was talking about with his instincts. He seems to be able to break down and to digest what's going on right in front of him, like very quickly.
Yeah. And that's what I meant by vision. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, Ray, you got?
I had Peyton Wilson from NC State at number 2. 6'3", 233. Like a good athlete, moves very well. Again, a second, third round pick because it is a linebacker position, but who's a pretty good athlete who, again, reminds me of Trayvon Edmonds from Virginia Tech, who's a big, pretty thick, dense kid who just plays the position very well. I mean, I'm a big fan of Peyton Wilson. So
he and the next guy we're talking about are speed. I mean, this man ran a 4.43 at the combine. He's a speedster. These guys are going to be guys that you can put in space. You can, be able to cover guys. Those type of guys. They're today's type of linebackers, and I think that and I got Peyton Wilson right here, by the way. Wilson, sorry, right here as well, right? I just think they got good vision. I keep saying vision. They got good instinct, both of them, and they're fast. So they're always around the ball. They're always around the ball.
Linebackers who see things quickly are the guys that probably are the best players because we already know what kind of athletes they are. It depends on what if they can digest and get to what they see quickly enough to make an impactful play. Peyton Wilson is the guy, though, dude. I'm a really big fan. I think him and my next guy could wind up going in the second
round. 100%. No, I think they both will. All right, let's reveal it, Ray.
Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M. 6'2", 230, a guy that you probably could play him anywhere as a linebacker. He'll make plays for you. He'll tackle. He'll get to the quarterback. He can drop in coverage a little bit. So that's really where you're going to see where I think Edgerrin Cooper and Peyton Wilson are probably the guys that are best at that as far as asking linebackers to drop back into coverage. So.
Yeah, and that's why I have him at my number 1 as well. Both of them, 2 of the fastest linebackers out there. Like you said, coverage guys. Today's type of linebackers that you need them to cover a tight end or whatever. We just talked about the tight end There's a lot of them in the NFL right now, and they're dominating because there's not a lot of linebackers that can cover. So you got two guys right here that can cover, that can get out there, super fast, got good instinct, get back in, make sure that nobody's going to throw the ball behind them. They're gonna sit with their guys. The I would say there's no linebacker like this guy is not wasn't didn't come out as one of the faster linebackers, but um Luke Kuechly. I feel like everybody's chasing that Luke Kuechly player, man. I mean, there was a play where and a lot of people was criticizing the play because they had a linebacker on a wide receiver. But when Luke Kuechly went down the field and was covering Julio Jones, and he was step with him. Now Julio Jones is a freak. He's gonna catch the ball. He's gonna, as the kids say, head top you, get the ball over your head, moss him, whatever you want to call it, and do that. And that's what exactly Julio Jones did as a freak. But you watch that play. The more impressive thing to me was Luke Kuechly. I mean,
he was with him,
running with him step by step. And if it wasn't Julio Jones, it was probably any other receiver. That ball was deflected or tipped to his own guy or something like that. But it was Julio Jones, who was a freak himself. But I'm telling you, that play was amazing to see as a linebacker going down. I think that's what we're kind of chasing now. We're chasing that kind of linebacker that can, not necessarily every down running with a wide receiver. You don't want Luke Kuechly doing that, but I mean, a guy that can instinctively go step by step with a guy, and and not only that, but tackle too. He was a damn good tackler. He was always around the ball. Like we say guys are always around the ball. No, Luke Kuechly was literally always around the ball. So
he was
right now, and I don't think that we're gonna find that in this draft. But as far as getting somebody that can cover, these two guys are definitely two linebackers that you can rely on.
I think the difference between them and Cedric Ray and Junior Colson is, I think them guys are good athletes. I think what you'll see out of them is they're going to be like guys that will rush the quarterback from that spot.
Yeah.
As opposed to dropping in coverage. You can use both in different type of defenses, but I think that Edgerrin Cooper is that guy that could not cover a wide receiver, but could probably line up there and cover a tight end. You know what I mean? So,
All right. Let's get to our next one. Let's get to our sleepers, Bray. Let's get some sleeper linebackers. So
I got Tyron Hopper from Missouri and Curtis Jacobs from Penn State. Hopper is a guy who's plays a little bit more of an outside scheme where he attacks the quarterback and can do some things in coverage, like on tight ends and stuff. He's a 6'1", 31 pounds from Tulane, so he's from a smaller school also. And then I like Curtis Jacobs, but I know he's only a two-down linebacker. I don't expect anything more from him than that. He kind of reminds me of Sean Bradley, who the Eagles drafted out of Temple. He's a guy who can play like two downs and go out there and stop the run for you, but don't really ask him to do anything in coverage.
Yeah, I forgot about Sean Bradley. I wonder I know we had him on our team forever as a backup, but I'm curious what happened to him.
I think, honestly, I think that these guys like Hopper, Jacobs, even my next guys from the small school, where they're going to make their bread and butter is hopefully on special teams, and then they'll back up somewhere.
100%. Yeah, can't find him right now, but we'll definitely look into that later on, Ray. All right, my super guy is a guy that's actually on your team, Ray, and I think people are not talking about him enough. He's at the Senior Bowl. Marfis Lufatu. Right, help me out.
I'm getting to him. There's actually a couple of Notre Dame linebackers in the draft. And apparently I passed him because I'm getting to him.
Maurice Liu Fadu. Hopefully I kind of pronunciated that right. But
Maris Liu, that's a tough name, man. Ufu.
Okay.
I'm probably not doing much better. But again, he's a guy who I like him. I think he's anywhere from the 5th round on. Again, he's going to have to play special teams, but I think he can make a roster. I have him. I have him where he's a draftable player. But even at Notre Dame didn't ask their linebackers to do a whole lot. So
Yeah, yeah. I like him. He played very well at the Senior Bowl. I think JD got more of the praise there, and he did well as well. But
Mhm.
I like his game there. He had a better practice in his game, but he was solid out there. He did his thing. And again, it's kind of hard to judge linebackers as much at the Senior Bowl because obviously you can't hit that hard at the practice. Like you really can't hit at the
Plus,
practice.
linebacker in today's NFL is the hardest position to evaluate.
Yeah, it is.
I don't care what anyone says, dude.
Correct.
You don't do anything they used to do 20 years ago.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So we'll see. I like him. I want to see a little bit more of him. I liked his game at the when he played for Notre Dame. He had a really good defense in my opinion. Slack fell off just a little bit this year. But I think your defense was always your strong point the last couple of years. So I like a little bit of his game. What more do you think you can tell me about him, Bray?
He's a nice player. He played special teams for us.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Bertrand, JD Bertrand, basically both played special teams. They both did some nice things for our defense. Our secondary was really our strength in our defense. Our defensive line was okay this year,
Yeah.
and our linebackers were just solid. I mean, neither one of these kids are going to be truly impact players, like 3-down players, but they can make a roster, be a core special teams guy, and they both can play some inside linebacker for you, and they're both solid tacklers. Neither one of them are going to wow you with their athleticism.
100%, 100%. All right, Ray, let's get to our small school guys, Ray. Who you got?
I got Jordan McGee from Temple and Jontre Hunter from Georgia State.
Nice.
Both guys that played a little bit inside and outside linebacker for their teams. I mean, I like Jordan McGee from Temple. He's a hybrid guy who actually plays. He's a solid against the run and does drop in some coverage, not like against tight ends, but not nothing special. But he's a good, solid athlete. He's 6'1", 230. So a nice player.
Definitely. My small school guy is a guy that been buzzing. I think he was at the Senior Bowl as well. Let me double check real quick before I say his name. I'm pretty sure he was there. I can't remember. But anyway, it's Tyrese Knight from UTEP. Small school guy, went crazy at the combine. Really athletic. Had a 4.63 vert as a 34.5. Broad jump was a 9.11. Shuttle was a 4.4 and a 21 bench press. Man was athletic. I like him a lot. Only 6 foot, so he's a little shorter. 230 pounds. But he is a guy that's gonna be flying around. I thought of him as a thumper, and he ran real fast, right? So I think really like that about him, right? Obviously, can do better against the blocking and getting off of blocks, but if he runs full force and gets past those blocking, he can thump you, and I like that about him. So, what's your thoughts on him?
I like Tyrese Knight. I think he's again guy who will have to need to play on special teams, go a little bit bigger, a little stronger, and maybe he could play in a middle linebacker on a 3-4. Be like that secondary linebacker. The linebacker class is not horrible. There's just not a lot of high end. Like there's nobody definitely a first or a second round pick. Always a first or second round pick. But there's some depth here and there's some solid players.
Yeah. I think you can, if you need a linebacker and some guys that you can kind of just put in there, help you guys out. I know the Eagles need a linebacker. Kind of, sort of, maybe we barely use those linebackers, but we always want one. But yeah, I think that solid class. Again, I think you got the top ended guys are really good. Our top five guys are really good. That's considering how you want them, but no like superstar, super athletic guy. That you're like, God, I gotta have some kind of guy. So,
Like I said,
yeah,
if you ask your linebackers to do anything in coverage for you, then you need to take Edger and Cooper. For me, you need to take Edger and Cooper or Peyton Wilson in like round anywhere late round second round,
yeah,
and then one of them two guys should be there for you.
correct.
Then everybody else is going to be a scheme fit type of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean they're bad players. It just means that you need to find what they do best and let them do that. So
Yeah, no, I agree. So it's a good class. I like it. So.
yeah.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us. Ray, you got any other closing words? Any draft stuff you want to talk about real quick?
Nah, just I'm excited about the draft. I wish I knew exactly what Miami was going to do, but you know how it is, man. Everybody's closed mouth right now.
Yeah.
No one's really talking. The crazy thing is what you do here is all bull crap.
Yeah.
It's all crap, dude. No one really knows what's going on. I listen to podcasts every day, and they're just blowing smoke up my rear end, dude.
Oh yeah.
I know that. I mean, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. Here's the difference. I don't pretend to know, and I can sit here and listen to different journalists that tell me that they think they know, and then when draft comes out, I'll find that they didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So, because the teams only leak what information they want to leak, and everything else they don't want to leak, they don't let anybody find out.
Yeah.
And the guys that do know won't talk,
Mm-hmm.
or they won't know anymore. So, I mean, it's a fine line between. Do you really want to know what your team is going to do? Because half the fans will probably be upset if they really know what their teams are going to do, unless you're one of them teams like if Buffalo gets crazy and because they have 10 picks, maybe they trade some collateral and move up into the top 10, 15 to get one of the top 5 receivers because they need a receiver on that team. They do. They have good, solid players. The problem with that is, can you get a number one receiver that can come in and be an impact player right now? I think if you get one of them top 2 or 3 guys, it may take a month, but you'll get some production out of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that I agree with you, Ray. It's definitely that time of year where you're gonna hear different things and people are gonna be saying different things and downplaying certain players and this and that. Like I said in the beginning, just that kind of year. You just gotta take a lot of it with a grain of salt. But also, people are bored. It's getting really close to the draft. We've been talking about this since December. Just talking about the draft. So, they're getting bored and a lot to talk about. Draft analysts generally only talk about like the first, maybe even second round guys, and that's about it. They don't go through the whole draft, so they start getting bored. They don't really have nothing to say, so they start having some crazy takes, like
I will say this for the people that follow the draft as well as we do. And here's the other thing I don't do that I know a lot of media people do. I don't talk down to people that man, you follow the draft. Good for you. You value your opinion. That's great. I value mine. Here's the other difference. I listen to everyone's opinion. And then I kind of decipher once the draft is over if they really knew what they were talking about or not.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a person who you enjoy the draft and you enjoy your evaluation and blah blah blah, that's great. So just take it for hopefully your team has a good draft. Hopefully you draft the guys that you want or you would like them to draft. But if they don't be upset, man, because they probably know a little more than you do. And here's the one thing they definitely know more than, and there's even me and you or people that follow it as well as we do. The medical reports that they get are something that we will never be able to get. Anytime we hear about injuries, it's always secondhand information where these teams know everything about injuries and everything else. Personal stuff that I'll never know about these kids, these teams all know. And that's really the part of the evaluation that I can't give you.
Yeah, I agree because, There's, like you said, the medicals that they don't tell you about. Then these teams are able to go to coaches like high school coaches, college coaches, special team coaches, like players, like different coaches that tells them different things about a player. They're able to do that. They're able to scout them throughout the years. So be able to look at them more than maybe the 3 or 4 games that we watch. They get to see the whole totality and get to put in a full base analysis. They could see when the player got injured and hey, was this player injured during this game, where they didn't report that he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And maybe that might affect their game or their play. So yes, these teams definitely get a lot more information than us. But even with that, you don't know. You just don't know how a player's gonna pan out. You don't know when a player's gonna get injured in the NFL. You don't know if a player's gonna react to a certain coach or this or that. Excuse me.
You don't.
Some players play better under different coaches. Some players play better under different environments. You get what I'm saying? So just because we're like, oh yeah, this player would be great at this with this team, there's so many other factors that go into it. Like that really determines how the player plays. So, for all and not even analysts, even scouts, even teams, you just don't know how it's always gonna pan out. Like you can get a good prediction, you get a good idea, you can have, your favorite fit for that player and how you think they're gonna work for your team, but you never know how it's gonna work out. So
Mm-hmm.
and plus, the other factor into the draft is you don't know who's gonna get picked before you. So
Right.
unless you got the first overall pick, you don't know who's gonna get picked before you. So it's just like, hey, this might be a team that trades in, it might be a team that trades out, might take a player that you want, maybe might take like 3 players right before you go, and then you panic like the Eagles did when Marcus Smith. Anyway, so you never know. You just never know how the draft is gonna go to. So it's like,
I mean, the funny thing is, there's a pretty consensus opinion of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks.
yeah,
Now, one of the top 3 quarterbacks are probably going to be a bust.
yeah,
So you're the team that's praying that's not you.
yeah. Yep.
So I mean, like, that's a scary, scary thing, man. When you think about it, like, I'm going to take a guy, and if I can't get the guy, I will. That's why I'll be honest, Jerome. I don't care who you are. If you don't feel good about drafting these quarterbacks, you shouldn't draft them. I mean,
Yeah.
because I'm going to be honest with you, I know people are going to. None of these guys are C.J. Stroud, dude. Not one of them.
Yeah.
So if you want to act like they are, you go right ahead, but they're not.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, Ray. I will commend the NFL for I think it was 2021 draft, where there was only one quarterback drafted in the first round, and that was Kenny Pickett, and that was like the 20x something.
You know what, though, Jerome? You say that, but that is the epitome of the problem, though. Kenny Pickett should have been taken in the first round, but the Steelers had to do it because they had to have a quarterback. Kenny Pickett stinks.
But you got to remember all the other quarterbacks that were in there, and we were like, yeah, Kenny Pickett's gonna probably be in there. Will Levis is probably gonna be in there. There's a chance that Malik Willis will be in like the second. Malik Willis in the second round, stuff like that. Like we were, I'll be the first one to be guilty about that because I said like I know how the NFL goes. They're gonna overdraft quarterbacks and just how it is. I commend the NFL for at least.
No, we all did.
That was not a good year.
It was really, I would love to know what the Steelers were thinking then, though, to be honest with you.
You know what it was? I think it's a little bit of, hey, we can resell this guy too. Because, again, he's from Pitt. He was right in their backyard, played at their stadium plenty of times. They knew about him. They knew who he was as a character and this and that. So I think that it was a little bit of that. Like, we gotta make sure we get this guy or we're kind of going to be screwed with our fans in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was still an idea of he could have been good still. You know? I mean, I don't know.
Not a fan.
I had high hopes for him. I did too. So.
I mean, he's an Eagles fan, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He grew up in South Jersey.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He's on our team now, so I get it. Yeah.
Hey, man, well, you know what? In your offense, kind of works a little bit.
Yeah.
In the Steelers' offense where they're running team where they like to throw vertically, not a good fit.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Appreciate y'all getting on with us. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We are so close to getting that 10,000. So close. You only need about I think 250 now, 250 followers. So we're almost there. I think by the time draft rolls around, we'll be at 10K, which is awesome, man. So help me, help you, help us grow as a family. Help us grow so we can help you get more information to you faster and quicker and better quality and everything like that. So make sure you go like and subscribe to us. Go on our YouTube channel, like and subscribe there. We have all our live podcasts. We have, the RPO college podcast, which is ours. We do draft, we do college football. Then we got the Air It Out podcast, which is the NFL draft, the NFL podcast. It's talk all NFL trades, rumors, all that great stuff, crazy hot takes. And then we got our newest one, the First and Foremost podcast, which is more high school based. We do some basketball in that as well. So check us out on there as well, guys. We really do appreciate y'all. Ray, any last words before you get off?
Yeah, we get to do my favorite position next week before we have another mock draft.
Let's go. We're gonna do DBs, cornerbacks, and safeties. I actually think this is a very deep draft, right?
It is a very deep draft, no question about that. So
yeah.
another position that I need on my team, so I have no problem with that. And
Same here.
Yeah, I will say this: you can never have enough good cornerbacks. There's no question.
I agree with that, and I do like that because right now I think the Eagles are kind of logjam with the third guy right now. We got a lot of number threes. We got a number two, which I think he's kind of falling off a little bit. Bradbury, you can't really get rid of his contract right now. So, but we got a lot of threes. We got a lot of guys that could be our number three guys. A couple of our young guys played last year. So I want them to draft a cornerback very early still.
What would you think about Quinion Mitchell or Coy McKinstry? Because that's who a lot of people have the Eagles mocked to. So
yeah. So I like both of them, man. I like it. I see a lot. I've seen Terrion actually more than McKinstry.
I think Terrion will probably go before 20 though.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that
we'll definitely talk a little bit more about it next week for sure. But make sure if you like DBs like myself, I love DBs. I play the position. Make sure you check us out next week right here on Wednesday again at 7:00. And then right after that, we're gonna have our final mock draft. And we got special guests coming on.
The best thing about it is the day before the draft, so we'll be able to find out how smart we are, how dumb we are right away.
Yeah, so fun doing it the day before the draft and then comparing it the next day. So, guys, thank y'all so much. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification button on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter because we need those numbers. But I'm super excited about this draft, man. I hope you guys are. And we'll see you next week, man. Make sure you check it out. DBs, let's go. Peace.